Can you hear me?
I gotcha. How's it going, Tom?
Good. How about yourself?
Doing great, man. Appreciate the time and won't keep you for too long, but just wanted to dig into this 40th anniversary tour a little bit with you and
Okay.
ahead and look back a little bit. But first and foremost, dude, thank you for doing this. I mean, you're not doing a ton of shows. There's a few of them. We're fortunate enough to get you in SoCal here, April 26th, House of Blues of Anaheim playing Bonded by Blood in its entirety. And I know you got one show underneath your belt already, but pretty amazing. How's it been feeling for you playing this album in its entirety and in sequence?
It's pretty awesome, dude. I mean, we get to do like No Love and Deliver Us Evil and stuff that's not in our normal set these days. So it's kind of cool to revisit those songs. And
Absolutely.
we're actually practicing while we're recording in the studio. So like I take the tracking drums, the tom toms off the kit, and I put on some drums that I could just beat up for like an hour and a half, and then I take them off, and then I bring the other ones back. So it's a busy time, but we're lucky, man. We're lucky.
Pretty cool to be looking backwards and forwards simultaneously.
I never thought about that aspect of it, but you're totally right. Like, I'm pretty much a live in the moment guy these days, but I mean, I'm thankful for the 40 years. I'm kind of amazed that we survived it all. And, you know, we're here to do this now. So cheers to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And since we are turning back the clock a little bit, I had a couple questions wanted to dig into, about the
Okay.
Bond by Blood album. First and
Okay.
foremost, kind of curious which came first, the chicken or the egg, the song Exodus or the band name Exodus?
Oh, the band name came way before that. Yeah. The band name came in like 79 or 80 actually in El Sobrante, California. Um when Kirk was with us, we were practicing in a guy named Keith Stewart's living room, and we were kicking around names. I can't remember some of the other names, but it just kind of stuck. We didn't really think about the biblical implications, or tying it close to Genesis or anything like that. We just liked the way it rolled off of the lips, and we loved the Bob Marley song too. So
And then how about the idea to write a song called Exodus?
oh, that came much later. I think we were just looking for maximum brutality on the song, and just like, let's shock people and write this crazy song. I don't remember who wrote the lyrics. It's probably Gary because he's the angriest. So uh,
Talking about the album and writing, you have a writing credit on the album for the song, and then there were none. Take me back to writing that one.
all right. Me and Gary were cruising off to see Rick in Berkeley in my 1972 Dodge Colt station wagon
Nice.
that I bought from my mom. I was gonna buy it, but then it broke down. She's like, you know what, you can have it because you're paying all this money for repairs. So that's how that all worked out. And we got a flat tire.
Ah,
So we walked the rest of the way to Rick's apartment. Rick wasn't home, so we broke into his apartment. The power was not on, and we sat in the dark and wrote that song.
that's awesome,
We're like,
man.
what else have to do right now? Yeah.
You know,
So
it's great because as we were just talking about looking backwards and looking forwards, you had a song on the last album, "The Years of Death and
yeah,
Dying," which I absolutely loved, and I'm hoping that you're going to have some more writing credits on this new forthcoming album.
yeah, I'm working on two right now. And they're getting there. They're almost done. Like, we just kind of matched them up to which song they would go to last week. So I'm kind of catering around that.
Do you write riffs as well, or just lyrics?
I wrote I wrote the verse riff for Seeds of Hate. Um, I'm not much of a guitar player per se, and I'm too damn busy on the drums all the time to even like take a moment and sit down and write a riff. I mean, I got some acoustic stuff, but those guys are such great guitar players. They don't need my riffs,
I
you
figured
know.
before of you just calling it out a riff, like kind of mouthing a riff, but you can actually play some guitar.
Just chords and stuff. I play upside down left-handed. I play a right-handed strum guitar,
Like
upside down.
Dude, speaking of bonded by blood, certainly the guy missing from the equation, Paul Baloff, and before my time, but kind of curious if was he really like that comic book character that he was kind of portrayed as? Can you talk a little bit, kind of humanize him for us?
He was a he was a freaking metal maniac. Like he was probably most into metal out of all of us, you know. Um, and he had this relationship with the crowd that just he pulled them in, and like it was all part of a scene being born, and he was kind of like the conductor of a lot of that scene. And yeah, he was and aside from that, he was a warm human being. He loved his friends, he loved dogs, he loved animals, and he loved metal.
And it was kind of a prankster too, right?
Oh yes, I'm sure you heard the story when we got the band back together in 1997. He sold the trailer twice that he was living in, and one guy came to look at it, or one guy came to get it, I'm told, and the other purchaser came up and said, "What the hell?" And I think Paul bailed. But we miss him. He was taken way too young, as were many. And I think about him a lot, and I think about how he would, be very impressed by how we're doing now. So, and we shout out to him constantly, and we think about him constantly. And I mean, I write the words I'm writing now definitely have him in mind, and the years of death and dying, like, definitely kind of like harken back to the fallen. You know,
Yeah.
um, I didn't really put Paul in the song per se, but he was on my mind. You know,
Makes sense. Makes sense.
yeah.
Speaking of singers, obviously Rob Duke's back now in the fold. And
Yeah.
kind of ironic that you guys are out playing Bonded by Blood at this show because I've always loved the re-record that you did with him back in like '08, Let There Be Blood, just because
Awesome.
it sounded so much better sonically. Vocally, it sounded so much better. So it's kind of funny because a lot of the times when I listen to Bonded by Blood, it's that version that I go to, the Rob Duke's version, because the clarity is so much better.
Well, we did that for two reasons. A, we needed the money because we weren't making that much money then, and then also we wanted a representation of what the band sounded like, with that lineup and stuff like that. So we did it. We got a lot of flack from it, from doing it again. It's like we weren't trying to reinvent the wheel or do anything like that. We were just kind of, let's make a companion recording so people hear Rob's iterations of Paul's vocals, and you know, we just did it. So we
Well, I
can't we can't we can't redo it, and we can't, like, unmake it.
right, right. Well,
So,
I love
but
it,
I'm
man.
glad you like it, Mike.
Yeah, I love that version of it. Like I said, it just sounds so much better. The drums sound better. The guitars sound better. Everything's a lot more clear. I feel like you guys and especially Testament on the first album, both not the both best sonic recordings. You know?
Yeah, well, I mean, plus the technology. I don't know when we recorded that. It was 2008 or something, or
Yeah.
six maybe. I'm not sure. It was oh something, 2000 something. But I mean, we had technology then that we didn't have in '85. Like, I remember them trying to do edits and like having to cut tape and you know um fix the tape. And yeah, we did a lot of the basic tracks for Bonded were live, you know.
Now you can do it in your own time, your own pace. You don't have to, hire that one studio and knock it all out. It's like a whole new world of recording now, thanks to the digital age.
We went in the studio on March the 1st, and my drums are still set up. I'm gonna go do some tracking next week. So
That's awesome. And
yeah.
speaking of the show, we should also mention Death Angel on the bill as well, fellow Bay Area thrashers and old friends, I imagine.
Yep.
Great that they're going to be
Yes.
part of this anniversary celebration.
Heck yeah, man. We love that band. We're they're our brethren. We've seen so much and been so many places with them, and it never gets old.
Well, it's great that they're able to carve some time out with Mark, playing with Kerry these days, keeping him busy. So it's
Yeah,
great that they're able to find some time to be a part of this.
absolutely.
And we had touched upon it earlier with the two albums coming, not one, but two albums coming of new music. Do we have any sort of time frame or any update as where we're going to get that?
Well, the first one will be out early next year, and we just, you know, I, I think it would be a mistake for me to say, yeah, we're making two albums. What we're doing is we're recording a shit ton of music because we feel like let's maximize right now, you know. Um, at the end of the day, that's what we have is right now. So we we wanted to just kind of maximize it, and the creative juices are still flowing. Those guys might throw a couple more songs at me by next week, and we went in with probably nine like ready because Gary and me jammed. We've been jamming since December. um so I've been kind of traversing the state of California, and it's a pretty big state.
Yeah, it is.
So I've been driving around with drums and dogs and stuff in my truck, and um lived in a trailer at Gary's house on his property for a little bit. And yeah, the rest we kind of just, they're creating. We have a house near where our studio is, and those guys they're up every night just like writing stuff. And everybody in the house is walking around with headphones on, studying the riff and the click, and like figuring out what their parts are going to be. There's an electronic kit done, set up there. So I jam with Gary on the E kit or by myself with headphones. And then we're very busy. Like everyone is like kind of like locked in, getting ready to go in and lay down their part. And then, in the morning we have coffee and we go, yeah, see you at the office. And we all head to the studio, depending on who's working that day.
Is there any kind of theme between the two albums, or maybe too early? Because it got me to thinking too, like with Dukes being back, like the Atrocity Exhibition Part One, Part Two, like everything.
I think it's too early to call that. Um, but I mean, who knows? We'll see what happens. I mean, we still got time to pick out titles and things like that. I know only about 8 of the 16 we have tracked so far have names. So, we'll
It's
see what happens.
all part of the process. And
Mm-hmm.
speaking of a process, we had talked a few years back when you're out on the Anthrax 40th anniversary tour, but wanted to get a quick health update on you. Everything going well health wise and feeling good and everything?
Yeah, I feel good. I mean, it's I probably told you this a couple of years ago, but they take pictures quite often.
Hmm.
Um, I went from like the 4 month scan plan to the 5 month scan plan, and then I've been locked into a 6 month scan plan. I'm getting scanned next Friday, so knock on this antique wooden table that everything's good. Um, I feel good. I'm eating good. I just kind of like take it day by day and try not to give cancer too much energy.
Beautiful.
And I think everything's okay, but we'll see what happens next Friday.
Well, fingers crossed for you,
I,
Tom.
if I start thinking about it, I get what I call scanxiety,
Yeah.
which is a real thing. And you know, I had a good conversation with Lou from Sick of It All a couple weeks back, and he just went through some surgery about it, and
Yeah.
he's doing good. I hear he's got the all clear pretty soon to sing again, which is fucking
Great.
awesome.
Yeah. That's
I'm
awesome.
happy for him.
And
I think the science is pretty good on our afflictions these days. Um, I'm grateful for that science. I'm grateful for just for the ability to keep on living, keep on trucking.
keep on rocking, keep on bashing away on those drums. Well,
Hell yeah.
I appreciate all the time. Last thing I got to hit you with, man. We're an old school radio station. We do a feature
Okay.
called Mandatory Metallica, which you're going to be a part of.
Okay.
Obviously, you got some Metallica history growing up with Kirk,
Oh yeah.
but I'm dying to get your pick, man. I've been having this little Metallica debate, and I want to get your pick. And it's real simple. It's Ride the Lightning versus Master of Puppets. If you had to pick one out of those two albums, which one would it be?
Um, I think um I would pick Master. I think Ride the Lightning is a more brutal record, but I think Master of Puppets there that was a moment captured in time of a band just like young men like peaking creatively, like just they were it's a perfect record from end to end,
I
you know.
agree.
I mean that and I can't and Ride the Lightning is definitely a close second. I mean, Master is my favorite album. Um, Pitting it against all the others, I think it's better than all the others. The Black Album is a great record. Um, Lots of commercial success for that one for them.
Right.
They just blasted the door down for everybody, you know. So, um, but I definitely pick Masters.
I love it. Now, yeah, I'm with you, man. No bad songs. You put that album on, press play, let it go. There's the heaviest stuff on the album, the most I don't want to say light melodic stuff on the album. You get the whole spectrum, really.
And I think James's vocals on that record are, you know, like you with any band you could see the progression. Like if they're doing it right, you could see the progression of a musician as they're getting better. And you know, Kill 'Em All, we were just kids, and he was just figuring out how he was going to be a metal singer,
Right.
and he invented that shit.
Yeah.
He invented the Metallica style of singing, and then took it to another level on Ride the Lightning, and then Master of Puppets. He just crushes, you know. So,
Love it, man. Now the hard part, you got to pick a song for us to play on Mandatory Metallica for you. Do you have a favorite Metallica song?
oh man, I think I like Sanitarium. Welcome back, Sanitarium.
Welcome Home Sanitarium.
Well, welcome home, Sanitarium. I'm sorry. My brain, like, it's so funny. Like our whole band is walking around right now, and we have conversations, and we all just kind of phase out in the middle because we're thinking about parts of music.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? So like, even my own wife is like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just, I got to make a note of this part on this song that, that was messed up, and I got to go redo it or just
I got an idea for a drum fill. Hang on.
exactly, dude. And the only way it's gonna go away is for us to just finish this shit and get it out of us, get it out of our system.
Do,
So,
do you have
but
to
it's a
do you write
lot of
stuff
worse
down like
problems you
that?
can have than that, though.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of curious. Do you write stuff down when that happens? Do you hum it into your phone? What's the process for when you get an idea?
Um, well, I mean, for writing lyrics, like I listen to the progression and I try to, fit words that'll be in there. And Dukes is doing some amazing stuff on this record. So like he's he's got ability to do melody and stuff like that, and he's like asking about melody. You know, he's doing a lot of great writing on his. And everyone's just like um super creative right now. So
Tom, thank you so much for the time. Honored to get to talk to you again, and can't wait for that House
my
of
pleasure.
Blues show, man.
Hell yeah! See you soon, bud.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
If I see you down there, come say hi.
Oh, believe me, I will. I will.
All
Would
right,
love to.
man. Looking forward to it. Bye.
Bye bye.